Order so we can look like we are on time here. Roll call attendance. This is the August 22nd meeting of the Franklin Public Library Board of Trustees. This is Maria Imp. Judy Williams-Kalaki is excused, absent. Annalie Bennon.
Here.
Anne Maria Klubgia.
Here.
Ellen Alexandrovich.
Here.
Mike Karalevitz.
Here.
And Kristen Wilhelm, Alderwoman, is not here yet. So, alrighty, there is no other visitors, therefore no public comment. July 25th, 2022 meeting of the Library Board of Trustees. That is on pages 2 and 3 of our packets. Any comments or questions on that? Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
Mike, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Terry, any other discussion or questions? All in favor? Any other discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Alrighty, let me just Mike and Terry. Okay, Alan, we are gonna approve the vouchers and invoices first this month. How about? I don't want 2 months in a row. How about? I don't want 2 months in a row.
I'm telling you, I was ready to just take off for that.
Well, too bad. You gotta go to vouchers now.
Okay. I looked over the vouchers, or the invoices, and there was nothing that jumped out at me other than the $39,000. And there was nothing that jumped out at me other than the $39,000 for the roofing and sheet metal, but I think we knew that was coming. And so does anybody have any questions on any of the items?
I didn't see it in your report, Jennifer. Roofing go as expected, go well? Did they come across any?
Well, they had half of the snow guards had fallen off since they last
Oh, okay.
looked at it, so they did have to replace, which is why it's a little bit more than.
And
what-
when they last looked at?
that was in 2020 when we were closed during the
Oh, okay.
pandemic.
Okay.
That was when they first evaluated the building.
Good as far as we know now.
As much as we have ever been, Mike.
There isn't like this, and then they're coming, we know they're coming
No,
back for another.
this is done for this. So they
Time.
came and did preventative they looked it over and then they found the
found it
oil
out.
leak and then they repaired it. That's it for this. I mean,
Summer's almost over.
Includes
that's
this.
when Bob, no, he just found during the preventative.
That's what I'm saying.
During his preventative maintenance, he found an issue.
And so he came in to do the preventative at this time of the year.
Right.
I guess that's what. Okay.
Well, because he comes in when Bob calls him
Sure.
in, so.
Well, isn't it
What's
like
the problem?
automatically
Because we
annual?
did have another day this past month that we had no.
Isn't it
What's
like
the problem?
automatically
Because we
annual?
did have another day this past month that we had no.
That was because of this.
Oh.
And the air was off for a little bit in the morning and then they turned it on, it was half. We were at half capacity for air, but the problem was it was really warm outside, so the building could not keep up with it.
Okay,
And then the next day, so the building could not keep up with it.
okay.
And then the next day, when they did the repair, in the morning, they
They
had
had
it
to
at,
have it all.
they had it at half.
Oh, okay.
Again,
So maybe that's what I was thinking. I was
Yeah.
thinking it was broke, but it was really because of this.
it felt broke, but it actually was cooling. It just felt broke.
Okay.
Because it felt broke, but it actually was cooling. It just felt broke
Okay.
because it was so warm outside.
Oh, can I just ask one more question real quick? The 1440 for the outdoor lockers, some of that's being reimbursed, correct?
400,
For the outdoor lockers, some of that's being reimbursed, correct?
400 of that will be reimbursed. We were reimbursed 2,000 for the last invoice. We're being reimbursed 400 out of this, so we'll end up paying like 1040.
Okay. What is the projected finish date of that?
Well, they actually,
Stalled, is that why it's been taking so long? Okay.
because they weren't getting any updates on when it would be available, when they were gonna be shipping. But they finally got shipping notification, so.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve
Fund 15 invoices in the amount of $72,250.
Any other questions for Alan on that set of invoices, vouchers? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstentions? All right,
Invoices for Fund 16, again, everything looked very normal, $86.66. In looking over these invoices on the list, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, agreement leaves today's business solutions. Is that the copier?
No, that's actually the coin tower. That's next to the copier.
Okay.
Yeah, that way, if something goes wrong with it, we don't have to pay.
all right.
Right. Do we have a motion to approve the $4,366.66?
So moved,
Second.
and Mike seconds. Any other questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Continue now, Alan.
Okay, the financials that we were given for Fund 15 represent 58.08% of the year. The total revenue was exactly at 95% of the budget. Investment earnings turned positive, happy to see that. Total expenditure earnings turned positive, happy to see that. Total expenditures are 53.6% of the budget, and individual expenditures were as anticipated. In my
Questions on account 47? Questions on account 4713? Investment gains and losses. It's like an account that wasn't anticipated, and all of a sudden we lost money on nothing. Balance is down 5,100. Balance is down 5,100. What's that?
I don't know exactly what it is, but I would say that because we're generating interest on investments, these are probably bond funds, and with the interest rates going up in the marketplace, bond funds, your principal will be coming down.
But if held to maturity, there's no loss of value.
No loss of value, correct.
Oh, 5154. That usually right in line with. And are we already like in the enrollment period? So whoever's in is in for the year? Is that how it
I
works?
think that one is always off before. I haven't.
Isn't that the one where you ask people if are you gonna change anything? And if they tell you, and if nothing else changes in their life, it'll be right on, but things do change.
So last month, we were at 49.6% of the fiscal year, and it was at, my question is, I noticed, this is, I don't know, jumping around a little bit, but I noticed in the budget report for Franklin, that is one of those line items that we do not control, but we have to, somebody puts a number in for, but it's not changing next year, even though it seems to always be off. Changing for next year if we're running high.
Question for Tom.
Right.
Some-
So
whoever-
I guess
Yeah.
that is a question for people that,
I can
and again, it's a city
email.
thing and it's not a number we control, but, bottom line in our budget, it reflects. But, bottom line in our budget, it reflects. So,
And I can ask them how come that one tends to trend high.
right. And then why is our budget not then adjusted for that? If we have ran high for, maybe
Years.
that would be something to look, ran high for, maybe
Years.
that would be something to look historically at if we're running high year after year. Should the budget then be adjusted so that we're,
When like, this is a question, I'm sure, because I am new, so you probably have gone over, this is a question, I'm sure, because I am new, so you probably have gone over this before, but if I was outside of this and I was just, just a city member, in the end of the budget year, when somebody looks at the library budget, are we usually coming in above budget, below budget?
Or
I mean, and then,
does it?
obviously, we're not controlling these things, and if this stuff is coming due, or, whatever percentage above, does this end up looking like the library is spending more money than what we should be spending, even though it's out of our control? To somebody that's not looking at the budget that's broken down.
Or doesn't understand that this group of
Things
the
we don't
budget.
actually- Why would the mayor give us more money if we're always overspending? You know what I mean? Like, it could look poorly upon us.
Right. Or are we cutting things from what we control because that portion is
Needing
always
to
high?
be overcovered, like, so.
From the terms I've been on the library board, we have been just about right. Our
Okay.
budgets have been,
I mean, and I do
Yes.
know that, like, from the business side of things, you usually do, like, it's a balance thing.
Right,
You can't make too much profit, but you can't
Right.
lose too, like, it's.
right. I don't know if you can
Well,
look
we
at,
have, we're fund balance, so
Right,
if we
exactly.
spend too much,
right.
we
just
can
pull
take that out
our-
of fund balance for those items that we can take out of fund
Well, and
balance.
that's why we talk about this every
Yeah.
month too. Right, so we keep an eye on it.
Yep,
Right.
Okay, so that's.
yep.
Is that group health and dental, is that a stat every month?
Let me change topics right here because I put together this
Oh,
spreadsheet that shows month by for every single item on there. And if you go to that group health, you'll see that it started off at $73.99, and that's the amount that they thought it would be all year long. And we had that for 2 months. Then it's the amount that they thought it would be all year long, and we had that for 2 months. Then it changed to 70.83, and then 70.50. Well, the sum of those two averages out to the 70.67 that we've had for 3 months in a row. So they're trying to make it a static number. But as things change,
Right.
as they're putting this together, and then but as things change,
Right.
as they're putting this together, and then they get the bid in, I think we're self-insured, and so they get the bid in from the insurance for the stop loss, and they raised it more than they anticipated, and now everybody has to pay more. And, things are gonna move around a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, we are.
We're not way off.
Yeah, we're not way up.
We're not way off, no.
And if it's going down,
Righty.
Yeah, overall, again, the expenditures are 53.6% of the budget, which is below the 58.08. And we've covered a lot of fixed expenses,
Right.
which
Annual
are one-time,
expenses,
the
yeah.
annual expenses, so.
Actually, we're doing quite well.
Yeah.
Fund 16, unless anybody had any more questions on 15. Anybody had any more questions on 15? Fund 16, the revenue is 65.13% of the budget. The results are stronger than the budgeted amount, and it's led by fines that for this month alone was 26.72% of the yearly amount collected.
For the
That's a really good
second,
month.
for the second time in a row, for the second month in a row, I did not contribute to that.
I didn't. I got you back.
I thought that was interesting.
I got you back.
Okay.
What, that Maria hadn't paid fines for 2 months in a row?
Right.
No, I thought when I looked at the yearly difference, I just thought it was really funny that it's January and then July, right? That are the two really high months. Where, doing
Christmas
family
break,
things, and
they
then-
forget, they lose track, they keep, leave it at grandma's.
Our expenditures were only 52% of the budget. Only office supplies, 5312, we're at 106.08% of the budget. And that's, we're over, sometimes we're under.
Pardon me.
Yes, sir.
Last month that our expenditures were at 52%. In the minutes, because I'm reading my minutes.
Be accurate.
Oh,
For July,
Fund 16 or 58.65. I don't know what you heard, but I'm sure that's what I said.
And it went totally went over my head if I wasn't following along.
Yeah, you know the guy who calls up the file and just makes the changes in it? He missed one.
Yeah,
Sorry. Thank you for that catch.
no problem.
So I've got a question, and it's kind of on a little bit broader scale, and
Yep.
just slight conversation, then maybe take the deep dive on it offline. In going through Fund 16, understanding why we pay some things out of Fund 16, programs and stuff like that, I don't understand why we things out of Fund 16, programs and stuff like that. I don't understand why we have computer equipment in Fund 16. With nothing there that we spend against, but yet then in Fund 15, we've got a boatload, and then we're only at 13%.
You know, that might have been a mistake.
Load, and then we're only at 13%.
You know, that might have been a mistake.
So it just got applied to the wrong.
I think it just got applied to the
one?
wrong, yeah.
Okay.
And I can have Chris do I can have the city do I forget what they call it. Do you know, Alan? Some kind of,
Adjusting journal entry?
yeah, they can adjust the journal, some kind of,
Adjusting journal entry?
yeah, they can adjust the journal entry and change the account. So I can have that changed.
Yeah.
Well, that computer equipment in Fund 16, that was done in May.
Yeah, I think that was our server,
Okay. Can they go back and change it?
server.
Okay. Can they go back and change it? I would think they should
I'll
be able
ask,
to.
yeah.
I have another broad question. Mike, were you done with your broad question?
I sure am.
Okay. We typically have expenses, program supplies, postage, printing. I'm looking at this month. I marked a few. What is this one? Janitor supplies. And I guess that are always over. And, well, we just go into fund balance when we have, blah, 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 or we just know that those are content with that. Or should we be communicating back to the people making these purchases that you are going over the budget that has been set for you?
But they're not.
Okay,
Because when you look at this isn't counting for the grant money that we get.
right, and their supplies?
No.
Or do they, I suppose we.
Janitorial supplies I increased this year because
Gotcha.
we were over last year, but we're doing okay with janitorial supplies this year.
Yeah, I guess I was just looking at the percentages. I mean, it's 70%, we're at 60, that's not like huge. And I'm sure they make large purchases. And I suppose
Yeah.
when we get to the end of the year analyzing this, analyze some of this, but
But for example, the office supplies,
a lot of
that's
that
the
is.
programming.
Yeah.
And that, we get money from, in donations for different
Right,
things that
right.
get paid out of
Yes.
there, but we put the money in donations.
And we've never developed a great system for noting that so we can see that. It always just looks bad, or looks over, so, okay.
I can add, that's one question for Denise maybe. How
How can you show that, yeah, but, or maybe,
Why
We
would
just-
programming have its own line? Why
We
would
just-
programming have its own line? It's large expense.
why wouldn't they?
Like it should, yeah, it should just.
I thought
have
they
its
Instead of
own-
lumping it with office supplies?
especially, the summer, while actually just programming in general, you do programming year round.
That would be asking the city to change the GL number.
Or create one.
create one.
I think that would be worth it. I think that might be helpful for us matching up
I'm
then.
sure in other people's budget,
Matching up
I'm
then.
sure in other people's budget, if they don't have anything that goes in an account, they just don't show it on their report, because they're not budgeting anything for it, but we are.
Right.
I mean,
That's a good point.
does yoga programs go under office supplies?
The yoga program would go under sundry contractors, because we pay the yoga
But see, that
instructor.
could go under program.
Programming, right.
Yeah,
I wonder if you could,
or like the rubber bracelets.
Right.
That would go in,
Office supplies?
yeah, that's where we would put it now, for supplies that we are buying.
Supplies.
The art projects, that's technically like Maker Square.
Right.
It's a program
That's a
that they
program.
do, but it's also
So it's not supplies
So
for
if we
the
budgeted, it should go into
programming.
Yeah.
You know what?
And then,
Oh,
because then
yeah.
we can offset that too with the
with fund balance.
yeah, I mean. with
Grants
addition, Yeah.
to say, we spend this much a year on programming.
Well, I think it would just be good to know that in general, exactly how much we do spend on
Yeah,
programming.
it is kind of invisible otherwise, isn't it?
Well, it's all
Hey,
over the
we offered
place.
the community this much, we put this much money towards the community and programs.
And trunk or treat, I'm sure that'll come
Yeah.
out of like office supplies when really it's a
I mean, I
program,
think that would
National
be like
Night
a
Out. I
selling
mean,
point if we had that as a separate line item when we go to the city, like, look how much we're spending on programming.
right,
You know what I mean?
yeah. It may take a couple of years. If the city agrees to take a couple of years for us to develop,
A
to
budget.
show them.
If
What
the
we're
balance should
doing
get
and-
big, 2 years, next year's budget maybe,
Well, right, yeah,
I would hope.
to make sure
I mean,
everything.
I'll email Denise tomorrow.
Yeah, why don't you,
Yes.
was that something?
That'd be great.
Okay,
We can ask the question, but we're really,
okay.
we can ask the question, but we're really just pushing nickels around. I mean, these aren't big numbers.
I agree, but I think if we had it as a separate line item, A, we would know.
Yeah.
Right,
And B, if somebody asked us, we could be like, hey, we spend 20 grand a year on programming for the, because we could be like, hey, we spend 20 grand a year on programming for the community.
I think that's the
You
key
know,
right there. is-
instead of staples under
True.
office supply. you
True,
know.
they might
right,
look at
they
that
think,
as,
oh, you're spending
you're
a
right,
ton, right,
copier paper.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I think being able to just say that alone has its great benefit.
Well, and when you go asking for donations too, I mean, I was part of a program at the Ware Nature Center, and we had a sponsor that gave us $500, which wasn't a ton, but that would cover a lot of programming supplies, and if they could see what we're doing for
Or you
programming.
just put on the Disney princesses and
Right.
this.
Alrighty. Moving on.
Okay, cash register report. The meeting room rental did not match. And, the library fines did not match, $27.25 in the wrong account. Just have to get that straightened out, because in total, it matched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just have to, I went back in the receipts and I found, we did it correctly.
Right, they just,
Somebody on the other end just put it in the wrong, posted it to the
they
wrong.
probably didn't have their readers.
That can happen.
Yes.
So anyway, I did email Roseanne, the treasurer, and have not heard back, but it's only $27.25.
Nice.
For $27.25, let's not be too hard on them.
Right,
Yeah.
right. We'll take it.
He was without fault.
Right.
For the credit card summary report,
That's
which we just got today because how late it was getting
Yeah.
the information. Total is $2,097.92. There was nothing that jumped out as being way out of line, so I thought that was fine. Out as being way out of line, so I thought that was fine.
Good.
And then those two spreadsheets
Yes.
for Fund 15 and 16, which I already laid out why I thought these were kind of important, that we can follow any line, I thought these were kind of important, that we can follow any line item and say, is this number right or what's wrong here? One of the numbers that always gets me in Fund 15 is under utilities.
Right,
Lion Room,
right. Yeah.
Lion Room.
It's on the back.
Because I'm looking for Fund 16, that's what, add to Fund.
It's on, yeah.
Yeah, but the question was the other day about water. We seem to, the question was the other day about water. We seem to only get that, quarterly. And yes, sure enough,
Right.
quarterly. Electric and natural gas, for whatever reason, we never have something in January. really they should accrue something for January if they take that bill and post it back into the prior year, which when you're looking at the electric bill going across, you can see as we get into the warmer weather, the electric bill goes up. Still, that natural gas in June for 4,442 has me baffled, but,
Yeah, what's that?
oh, we talked about it last month. Let's not.
But the
There was some,
Well, in July is only 364, so
how they're
I don't know what,
shuffling their
I don't know what they
dates, yeah,
did,
yeah.
but I don't, are we paying for the police department's natural gas? I don't know.
Do they read meters every month or every other month?
Everything.
get
Every-
Did we check that? I'm sorry, I don't remember talking about that.
Well,
On that bill?
which bill?
The.
Natural gas.
42?
I know we used to get like an estimated read, but then it was
Well,
an
it's
actual
not-
read
Don't
only
get an
every other
estimate.
month.
It looks like it's accurate.
It's actual, but I
Okay.
think it's for, we pay We Energies a fee, and then we pay Wood River for the transport. So there's two different
Right, we're
companies.
in that other
So the 370 was
thing.
probably We Energies.
And the transport is billed
And the-
quarterly or something?
No, the transport is billed every month, but for some reason, it looks like June was 2 months worth of.
Well, it looks
I
like
can double check on
April
it.
and.
So
Like,
did we check on it last month?
We,
like,
Did we check on it last month?
we,
We
I know
talked about it.
Yeah.
Remember
And
we talked
we met with
about it.
Denise, but I don't remember bringing it up when we met with her.
okay.
No.
Something else to maybe ask her about, to explain that.
I wonder, since we have an idea of like thoughts or questions, I see there like a finance committee, is it maybe something that they meet on separately and bring back some of the?
Yeah, we just met.
We did just,
Yeah, we just didn't talk about
Obviously, they
natural
didn't talk
gas.
about this exact question.
yeah. Usually,
Maybe the next time you meet, talk about
most of these things go through, that's the question, hey, what happened with the natural gas in June?
Yeah.
I also I did ask this at the meeting, why we never get charged anything for sewer, and she hasn't gotten back to me yet.
I saw that.
And I'm
I'm
like,
"Pfft, mine's gone up and we don't pay nothing here. I'm like,
she said she was gonna double check, because I was like surprised, like, oh, you owe 3,000 for your sewer.
right,
And
I
back.
know, right? Are we budgeted sewer?
We budget sewer, yeah.
We do, okay, because I was wondering if it was, for some reason, some combined thing and, okay.
So she said she would get
I
back to me.
hate to ask and then get a
gotta ask.
big bill.
There are a
Lots of
few things,
questions. So she said she would get
I
back to me.
hate to ask and then get a
gotta ask.
big bill.
there are a
Lots of
few things she was
questions.
gonna
You
get back to
haven't
us on.
paid it in so many months.
So not only do you get the bill, you get the late fees. All right,
I think we should just send them a thank you card.
there we go. Thank you for paying our sewer bill, ignoring our sewer bill. Thank you for paying our sewer bill, ignoring our sewer bill.
And to the best of my knowledge,
This is super helpful, Alan.
Yeah, I like this.
And whoever else, Mike and Terry, I assume, worked on this stuff too.
yes.
So thank you all for super. Okay, any questions for Alan on this, the monthly financials? What is your plan, Alan, to update it, just to keep adding columns or?
Just add a column
Okay.
every month,
Okay, all right.
and at some point, it'll just keep printing smaller and smaller.
One of those like 11 by 17 pages, right? Great. Well, thank you for putting that together, so. Okay, any other questions for Alan about the finances? All right, we're moving on to agenda item 5, business.
We didn't talk about finance committee.
Oh, I
Yeah.
am so sorry. You're right. That's next on my pile, that report, or does anybody want to comment on those minutes?
I thought it was a really good meeting that we had with Denise. And I didn't make any details on exactly what she said she was gonna go back and follow up on, but we did have to give some to-dos.
Personnel.
Yeah, it needs a personnel change.
Did she have questions for us, or things she didn't understand about, or wanted to know about how we ran things, or how we reported things, or how, you know, or how, you know.
We did quite a bit of whining and complaining about why is this high and why is there nothing there and why is this
Gotcha.
happening?
Okay,
And she made the comment that she was gonna go back and let them know at City Hall that a whole lot of other departments, like the police or fire, don't look at this stuff to the depth that we are.
Oh.
So that
So is more-
departments like the police or fire don't look at this stuff to the depth that we are.
Oh.
So
So
that,
it's more compliments than questions.
yeah,
Gotcha.
so that
Okay.
they were gonna be watching it more closely.
okay, yeah, I just wanted to know.
She
had
said she
feedback,
learned a
yeah.
lot by being at our meeting.
Oh.
Being at the meeting.
Good,
Yeah.
super, yeah,
The meeting.
good,
Yeah.
super. Yeah, it looks like, judging from your minutes, you guys got a lot done. And we don't approve these, you will approve them at your next meeting.
Yeah.
So, okay, anything else about your meeting you want to tell us? Or any questions about the finance, anything else about your meeting you want to tell us? Or any questions about the finance meeting? Now, we'll go on to business. We have a Fund 15 departmental budget request.
But we don't really have enough information. really,
And
to really
I was
talk about.
going to say, according to Jennifer, what was missing from this?
They haven't put any of the personnel
Okay.
numbers in, and, you know, there's none of the, our
Right,
portion of the property tax, the stuff above.
Gotcha.
The revenues.
so I don't have a motion to table this, or do I just table it, or do I move that we
I
table
think
this?
we
Well,
just move on.
Okay,
Not
No
action.
action was taken.
no action, okay, there's no action taken on, business items A and B due to lack of information. Okay? All right. Bylaws review, here we go, I'm gonna set my clock for 15 minutes this time, because I'm thinking we can maybe actually get through.
Can I
Oh.
throw a monkey wrench? That, looking at the officers, section 6, which was all about the treasurer,
Yes,
that I really need to look at this
yes,
strongly. And as I read through it, there are several things that I feel need to be changed.
so what I was going to recommend, I'm sorry for interrupting, but
That's fine.
if, if I was going to ask you if you felt comfortable, writing, much like Judy Miller worked with Jennifer, kind of reworking the meeting attendance policy, if you would be comfortable reworking that description.
Be delighted,
Does anybody, that description?
be delighted.
Does anybody have a problem with that? Because I do think that some of us gave some input on that, or we trusted what you were saying, and is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. Was there anything specific you wanted to share with us that, or, okay. Was there anything specific you wanted to share with us that, or do you want to wait until you have something put together?
Oh, I have it scratched out here.
Oh, okay.
But-
Why don't you work with Jennifer and have something, and like Judy
We
did?
already talked about it, and I'll put something together for the
Yeah.
next
Okay,
meeting.
for the next meeting. That would be
He
awesome.
mentioned it to me, and I thought everything he wanted to.
Would we have any reason to meet as a committee on this?
I don't think so. It's semantics more than anything. Like they're talking about auditing. We don't audit.
Right.
Audit is so much more work. We review invoices. That, little
Right.
things like that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so does everyone have their bylaws and are on Article 4, meetings, and we were starting on Section 2, agendas and notices. And that looked fine to me. It was, just information. Any comments on Article 4, Section 2?
Do we have to have anything in there talking about it, that it has to be posted 24 hours before the meeting is held?
I think,
Lines, I think.
okay,
But if you want it specifically in
why don't you make,
section 2.
yeah, why don't you make a note that it shall be posted, whatever the law says?
Okay.
What is that, 48 hours? 24, 48? I don't remember. Yeah. That's not a bad suggestion to have it there. Anything else on section 2? All right, section 3 regarding the minutes. The last sentence says that the minutes are kept in an official minute book. Do we have a printed minute book, or have we gone completely digital and we no longer have a printed, an actual
Yeah.
book?
It's there online.
An actual
Yeah.
book.
It's there online.
It's just online. Do we need to take that out then? That approved board minutes are found on the library website, or where would we direct people to for the minutes instead of a printed book?
What is it, how does it put that printed, literally?
Approved board minutes are kept in the official minute book of the library board and posted on the City of Franklin website.
We want to talk about the City of Franklin website for our minutes, or do we want to talk about the,
See, that's what I'm asking. I assume there used to be a binder here in the library, but now we have them on the library website.
yeah.
They're both.
They're on our website, yeah, but we probably want to get rid of, if we don't have a book, we should probably get rid of that.
So they post them on the City of Franklin one,
And we,
and we have them on ours?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's mention both.
Let's mention both and take out the fact that there's no book.
That's a book, right?
Yeah. So,
Website to the library website?
I think the city has to keep probably records on their website of all the boards and committees.
Right.
yeah, so if I
But
link,
we should probably keep on our website our board minutes.
if I link to the city, because I know what you're saying.
Oh,
If I link
You can't,
boards, you can't just do library.
you can't, okay.
When you go to agendas and minutes, it lists them.
and there's no
And-
sublink to the,
We can't link to the library,
I
but
mean,
okay.
they could do that.
Do we need to?
The city of Franklin's are their website's kind of messy. It's not very easy to.
It's not super.
Okay.
Oh, well, and what's the, and then do we want to add the fact that recordings, would that be under minutes, or is that a whole separate? Do we need to add a section, or is that under open meetings law compliance? No, that's a city
No,
thing.
it's a city.
No, that's a law compliance. No, that's a city
No,
thing.
it's a city.
No, that's a city thing.
Wait, where are you at?
Well, we now are required by the city, we are not anywhere, that's the problem. We are now required by the city to record our meetings. That should probably be noted in our by the city to record our meetings. That should probably be noted in our bylaws that, it's not really minutes, it's actual recording of the meeting, so
Yeah, so we should make a separate one.
a separate,
Like have section
so we'll
2.
have to adjust the sections if we want to put that maybe under,
So wouldn't it be regular
Yeah.
meetings then, regular,
I think
back
these
in like section
two,
1, regular
like
meetings
section
shall
2.
be held
Yeah.
each month, date, time, hours set by the board, but it would also be held or available digitally to be watched, and then.
no, it's not, we don't have video podcast.
Oh,
So you can say audio recorded.
Yeah,
You could have a whole different section.
right, I think we
Section
should have a,
That'd
yeah,
probably be best, otherwise it would get lost, right?
yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Little help.
Section
we're going
2.
to add a section to note that our meetings are also recorded. So what's gonna happen is when the board is done reviewing the bylaws, Jennifer will rework them with all the notes we've taken from all of these meetings in the past months and months, and then,
I mail them.
meetings in the past months and months, and then,
I mail them.
mail them to us. There's a whole process
There's
for
a
that.
process.
Yeah, so,
which we will get to.
So you don't have to like be super, super specific, I don't think,
Yeah, I
with,
won't be.
yeah, what we're, yeah. All right. All right.
Where is the audio recording available?
On the website.
On the city's website.
Is it also on our website?
No, because we don't really have the capability of putting audio recordings on our website.
Okay. Minutes from our meeting that an audio recording is available on the city website?
I guess I could, I mean, we
Yeah.
could just insert
Yeah,
at the top.
a link to the audio.
Do
If
we
that's
even need to?
possible. I don't know, I think it's worth noting if we do it.
I think if somebody were to question it, you could say, well,
Going over the bylaws of the Franklin Public Library Board of Trustees.
Right,
It's not one of our bylaws or requirements, it's the city's.
right.
right.
So I don't know
I think
why we'd
we're-
have to list it in our bylaws.
No,
We can
oh,
do it as a footnote, I think, but I don't know that we have to make it a separate section.
Yeah,
Actually-
I feel like then we're just adding to add. I think you could, I'm in agreement.
Well, then how do you look at open meetings law? That's not our thing, but it's in the bylaws, so yeah, we have to, there's
I'm not-
open meetings, so we have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, to say that, the meeting has to be, that.
We have to make it a separate section.
well, like the open meetings law compliance, it's, the library board of trustees will be held in compliance with Wisconsin's open meetings law. We could say the recording of the meetings is in compliance with the city of Franklin's, city of Franklin's,
And available on.
ordinance, what do they call it, whatever the term is, it's not an ordinance, it's a,
Statute?
I don't know, I don't even know what it is, they
What are we
make us
talking
do
about?
it.
Someone can come up with it.
Yes, you can find, I don't even know what it is, they
What are we
make us
talking
do
about?
it.
Someone can come up with it.
Yes, you can find out why we do it, so,
Okay, that makes.
yeah,
the
then
most
it kind of
sense.
follows, I think it's important that we say we're following open law,
Yes.
so then we can use that same wording for the recording.
There you go.
We got
And-
5 minutes, we might be able to finish this article.
Yeah, I guess. So special meeting, and we will be looking at this wording, calling by the secretary. Judy Williams really had a lot to say about the fact that the position of the secretary was supposed to be calling all these meetings, and was that appropriate? And so we will make the bylaws similar. So we will probably be adjusting the meetings, being called by the secretary at the discretion of the president, the written request of 2 or more trustees. Yeah. We will look at any,
Except in the cases of emergency, at least 48-hour notice shall be given. Is that the
That's-
48 hours posting requirement?
yes, I believe so.
Okay.
But the meetings being called by, I think that's the part that Judy felt uncomfortable
Yeah.
with the secretary. Quorum is 5 trustees. I don't think there's anything that present in person. We dealt with that with,
Do we, instead of saying members, do we say trustees every place?
Instead of board members? Is that what you're questioning?
we can go through that.
If,
So where do you see members?
quorum for the transaction of business at a meeting shall consist of 5 members.
Oh, I have 5 trustees.
Yeah, 5 trustees too.
Must have an old one.
But we,
5 trustees too.
Must have an old one.
but we will make sure it's all
Someone was taken
updated.
care of already, thank you.
Well,
That was a quick fix.
all right, section 6 is the open meeting law compliance, and then parliamentary authority is that we're following Robert's rules in all cases which are not inconsistent with these. Any we try our best, Terry, don't we? No, Terry doesn't think we try hard enough. I don't have Kristen here to. All right, so any questions about, or any other comments about anything under Article 4 meetings? All right, then I am gonna start 2 minutes and 20 seconds early, and we're gonna call that section done, and we will start with committees next. And please, feel free, if something comes up after this meeting on any section of the bylaws, please, 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 feel free to contact myself or Jennifer regarding it. Don't be afraid to do that. Okay, we will move on to, agenda item 6. Kristen is not here to update us on council actions, although I think Jennifer
Okay,
has
I
a,
do have one thing,
oh, sure,
sorry.
no,
In the last section there, okay,
oh, sure,
sorry,
no,
in the last section there,
yes.
are we sure that this is in the latest revised edition of Robert's Rules of Order? Or maybe we should just leave it at Robert's Rules of Order?
Oh, I see.
So,
Yeah.
But are we following latest revised
Of course.
order?
Absolutely.
Okay, just wanting to make sure,
You haven't caught us on anything, have you?
that's true. It's because most businesses don't use Robert's Rule of Order.
All right, all right. Have you attended a in
You're right.
action?
Outside of Franklin,
Right,
or newer businesses, I
Right.
should say.
okay, so there's no report on agenda item number 6. Annalee, what's happening with the schools?
All right, we are getting ready for the school year. Obviously, we welcome staff back tomorrow.
Wow,
I know, right? Pretty staff back tomorrow.
wow.
I know, right? Pretty excited.
Are you excited?
What's that?
Are you excited?
I totally am excited,
I
yeah.
bet.
It's been great to see people around, but it's been fun to have like the transition days, so the 6th graders coming in and the 9th graders, and
Nice.
had some band camp, and now we have a lot of sports going on,
Yep.
so, yeah, it's been nice. What's that?
We've lost in football.
Lost in, yeah, it's been nice. What's that?
We've lost in football.
Lost in football, we won another areas of life, so it's all good.
I had my
It
neighbor
was a good game.
football player show up at my doorstep. I'm so glad I wasn't in my pajamas, but it was nice and early. He was selling his cookie dough to me.
It was a cookie dough, right? Yeah,
Oh,
it's
nice.
good cookie dough, I've heard.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all the excitement of what's coming ahead, but we did get the end of the year report, so I was gonna share some of our numbers. When I talked to Jill, Oldglaze the other day, who's our library media specialist. So we checked out a total of 210,284 books last year, so that's
Wow.
4K of that, 81% were books, hardcover books you're walking out of the library with. 18% were ebooks, so 38,737 ebooks. So we continue to lead in that way in the area for ebooks. And going into this year, we're gonna kind of celebrate the things we have been doing, like promoting reading, getting right fit reading for students, like where their interest level is. Obviously, the access to ebooks has been quite the hit, so Jill said they're gonna keep focusing in that area. And then they do a nice job, what I was learning, is making sure that if kids aren't finding something and they have suggestions, they get it to her, and, or they get it to the aides in the library, they get it to her, and she works on getting those ordered, so. They do a nice job to her, and she works on getting those ordered, so. They do a nice job of weeding out and bringing in new, and obviously, that checkout rate, I would say, tells us that that's working for us, so. It was exciting data to have.
Great. I have a question. If a Franklin Public School student uses their school ID to check out a book from our library, which they're allowed to do, they don't need a library card, they can use their school ID. Does that count it towards the school data or to our data
Our
still?
data.
Our data still. Okay, I was just curious. I figured it did, but ID checkouts broken out too? Like, you know how many were checked out with IDs versus
Do we have
cards?
that data set?
That would be an interesting for you. Like, might be interesting for you how many of your students are using their
I guess
IDs.
ask Sam to
'Cause
look
I
into
bet-
it. I can ask Sam to look into it.
Yeah, I mean, most
He's
students
my
are probably
point
using
person-
library
He's my point
cards, but-
person with the,
That they would start doing digital.
Oh, that's a good question, I'm not really sure. I would say probably now, access, we're gonna be 1-to-1 K-12 starting this year, we were 312, so my guess would be it was 312, but now it'll extend, so.
There's parts of Franklin in 2 other school districts, right?
no, there's Whitnall and then,
Mm-hmm.
Franklin Oak Creek.
Oak
yeah,
Creek, Franklin
Oak Creek,
Oak Creek.
yeah.
Okay.
Franklin Oak Creek. We do not.
We don't
Yeah.
let those kids check out with IDs.
We let them check out with library cards, though. I mean, we
No,
can
I
look
know.
into working with them, it's just, how
Yeah.
would that, I don't,
How would that work? Because like Whitnall is Greenfield, Hales Corners, Franklin.
Indel's its own separate.
It is, okay, but I know Greenfield, some of that feeds into Franklin,
Yeah.
or into Whitnall, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we-
that might get tricky. Get a library card and use it.
It's not, yeah.
It's as easy or
You can
easier than a
write your
school
name,
ID.
you can get a
I
library
mean,
card.
the thing about those areas of Franklin,
Get a
I
library
mean,
card.
the thing about those areas of Franklin,
I know.
it's, I mean, the majority of the people who go to the Franklin Oak Creek School District go to Oak Creek
Creek
Library,
Library.
and the majority of those who go to Whitnall use the
Hales
Hales Corners
Corners.
Library.
Do you think so?
Yes, I know so.
Really?
I see it in the stats. Library.
Do you think so?
Yes, I know so.
Really?
I see it in the stats, yeah.
Wow.
So I
That's why
think-
they're hearing about it at school, right? It makes sense.
Are all the Franklin Oak Creek schools are located in Oak Creek, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
So,
And same for Whitnall. They're located
in Hill,
and same for Whitnall. They're located in
in Hales
Hales
Corners.
Corners and
Yes,
Greenfield.
yes, okay.
I
All
think
right.
a lot of people, Franklin people use the other libraries too. I think a lot of them do.
On those
libraries.
edges,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm,
it's to western and eastern edge,
mm-hmm,
you know,
mm-hmm.
it's to western and eastern edge.
Well, have an exciting start to your year.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks.
That's exciting.
It is.
Alrighty, for my report, agenda item 8, I was part of the group that was at the Milkman, more about that, but that was like a great way for the board to be present. And Annie and Mike and Terry were there, and, you know, it was just one of those nice opportunities for us to be a face at an event. So that was fun. I, just today, I,
I do that all the time.
and then I was thinking, you know, that's what makes every library special. Like, we don't all have to be doing all the same things. And that's kind of fun. But I had a very interesting conversation with one of the assistants, because I asked if they had a self-checkout, because he was kind of busy there at the desk helping. No, we don't. And he was at a library that went through the transition from not having self-checkouts to having self-checkouts. And he said it was way worse after installing the self-checkouts. After installing the self-checkouts, they had way more problems with theft and with people going out without checking out books, and just the configuring of the gates and the money involved. So he was not real pro self-checkout. But the way they're set up, I think that explains it. So, but it was just very interesting to see somebody that had a different view on that and the reasoning behind it. So that was kind of to see somebody that had a different view on that and the reasoning behind it. So that was kind of my takeaway from that whole thing today, that it's, you know, it's just good to hear. And they're happy where they're at, and that's all that really matters for
It's
them.
such a small library.
It's a very small library, and their space is completely different,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, I
But they
just,
wouldn't say that was,
space is completely different,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, I
but they
just,
wouldn't say that was that's been our experience here.
yeah, right.
I've
right,
always said that the the RFID kind of keeps the honest people honest.
Right, right,
If you try hard enough, I
yeah,
shouldn't say this, we're being recorded.
yeah.
There are ways,
Of
yeah.
people.
all the
But he
ways.
had a super cute story about this young woman who the first time they installed the self-checkout thing and it beeped on her, she said, I didn't know you had to check out these books. I've been coming here since I was in 2nd grade, and she was like in her 20s. And I thought you could just take books. And she had an issue with her, but she probably came in as this like 6 or 7-year-old and was told you can get a book at the library. So she did, and then she would bring it back. So for her whole life, that's what
But
she
see,
did.
that's where the RFID educated her on how she was wrong.
Right.
That's insane, that's a lie.
I'm super cute. No, I don't think so. All
At
right.
her house and she has a library.
I know, right? No, she always brought.
How do we get, yeah.
He was like, they would be like missing for a couple weeks and they'd be back. So I don't know. It was just kind of funny. So, all right, there you go. Libraries, it's fun to see what other people are
I
doing.
went to the New York Public Library and the Boston
Yeah.
Library.
Nice.
Those are museums.
Yes.
They are.
Yes.
It was
Me
hot.
too.
There was no air conditioning.
Oh, no.
It was hot.
There you go.
I'm like, let's get out of here. I'm like, let's get out of here. My husband's like, you just climbed
Yeah.
all these steps.
But that library was actually started by two private libraries.
Which one?
The New York Public
The
Library.
New York, okay.
You know, it was actually started by that. You know,
Yeah.
so, I mean, it has a great history, but, you know, you go in there and you go, it has a great history, but, you know, you go in there and you go, wow. Well, it's New York.
Yeah.
Right, and that's just like well, we'll call it like the main one, but they've got lots
Lots of
of branches and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So, that's the place to go.
Yeah, that's neat.
I do have, I got a pertinent anecdote. On a we went on vacation. We went to London. And of course, there's the British Library. It used to be British Museum, and it was, the library was part of that. And there's this reading room, and here's where Karl Marx spent the, well, first of all, you gotta get a library card. You go through this long involved process, you get a library card, then it just comes up as we're saying for a while. I said, my wife and I are lawyers. They said, well, if I'd known that, I'd get you a 5-year card. And this thing that we got, it was like for a couple of weeks or something
Yeah.
like that. So that's one. And then every book, it's like every book would have, they'd have every edition of it, all this.
Not
Not,
like the Library of Congress.
Right.
and not not like researching it or anything like that. Get there and the book I was looking for, I think I had like 3 or 4 editions of it. More than that were circulating here, and they had 1 or 2.
Oh,
So it's like, well, that's what I get for not, that's what I get for not researching in advance.
Right,
You know,
right.
What do they really have there?
so funny.
Good
My
point.
goodness.
American Library,
Good
My
point.
goodness.
American Library in Paris.
Ooh.
Wow.
Well, I'll have to come with a library story.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
There is a bookstore. I think it's the Shakespeare.
The Shakespeare
Yeah,
Company?
yeah, that's a lot, that's a tourist site.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
So that could be a presentation, we have a panel discussion.
Yeah.
There we go. Right. All righty. Jennifer, agenda item number 9, your report.
Well, we already talked about Milwaukee Milkman game, but we had a very successful national night out, I think. Tons of people. We used this because the, what's that ice cream? The guys,
Oh, the Schwans.
the Schwans was giving out the ice cream, and then we weren't doing so well giving away our Freezy Pops, but when he left, then our Freezy Pops got super popular. We had kids coming back for seconds and thirds.
Whoa,
Popular. We had kids coming back for seconds and thirds.
whoa.
Well, and they had a lot from the
Kids are.
program left over, and
Yeah.
then Jennifer had bought more.
I didn't know that they had a bunch left over from Friday,
Oh.
and so I had Bob buy more at Menards, so
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
tons.
Oh my
We
gosh.
We do still have some. I didn't want to use Menards, so
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
tons.
Oh my gosh.
We do still have some. I didn't want to use up all of them, but,
That go under office supplies?
yeah.
Right, see?
The $10 for the 1,000 Freezy Pops.
I didn't come back and take a lot of Freezy Pops, but I was part of the reasons the Schwans guy had to leave.
Oh, you did bring us, Alan brought us ice cream.
Oh, nice. What a
Maybe, were you
guy.
delivering it to everybody?
Quite a few people,
Well,
but me in
that,
particular.
So here we
somehow,
are, almost done with the meeting, sitting in the theater room where we could eat. and there's no
Freezy Pops
I can probably get some out of the freezer.
I was here with,
For the district.
for the
Yeah,
district.
Yeah, they were, and then I was working the table with
Yeah.
Jennifer, I was not.
Oh, that was very nice. So we were like milkman people and you were national night out
It
people.
did, it worked out.
Perfect.
Dream work.
Yeah.
So, so National Night Out, I think, was really good. We had a great position, like when you walk in the library.
Yeah.
I kind of took my sign off of where I was supposed to be, because it was on the other side, and I
Oh.
don't think anybody would have seen us, but people
Right.
saw us where we were, so, Gary Wallace said he would make sure we were there every year. I'm like, yeah, because this is
our
parking.
property.
Sure we were there every year. I'm like, yeah, because this is
Our
parking.
property.
It's our parking lot, of course we're gonna be right here.
You know, on the way to the bathroom,
Yeah.
and in front of
Right.
everybody, anybody that was coming in to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, they had to walk by us.
Oh,
That's
and-
right,
man.
you're a key location.
So that was really good. The Milkmen game for the foundation, we sold over $1,000 in 50/50 raffles. So they made 500 on the raffle alone, and a couple of hundred on ticket sales, which we haven't gotten the final numbers yet.
Okay,
But I think they made around $700,
That's awesome.
which is.
because I was a little, I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting more. It just didn't seem like there were,
Attendance-wise, me?
yes. So I'm glad we got enough to be bumped up to the
We're
weekend.
hoping, yeah, he's,
Yeah.
yep,
Yes,
we're
so-
hoping we're at a weekend next
Saturday
year.
in May.
There we go.
Bethany and Mary, who've both been here 1 year. You can tell we always hire shelvers in August.
Yeah, right? I wonder why.
The old shelvers go to college, we hire
Yeah.
the new ones. We got like 6 candidates for the shelver position, only 5 were qualified. One was too young. So good applications. and
Good,
that's what
all you need
counts.
is one, right?
Yep. So, she's doing the interviewing
Good.
tomorrow and Wednesday. So hopefully we'll have them up and running soon. You see the reading patio, unless you guys, I mean, I kind of felt from the last meeting, we didn't want to talk about it much longer.
Yep.
Telling you what the
What the
quote
quote
came in
was.
as, and just to give us an idea. And then, of course, the HVAC, you saw the bill.
Well, I appreciate that he only charged us for
Yeah,
what he
but it's-
paid, so I know it's still a lot, but that is very generous of him to,
But
he
it's-
paid, so I know it's still a lot, but that is very generous of him
But
to.
it's very scary that it's now $250 a pound.
I know, well, these are the things we need to make sure the city is aware
Yeah.
of, so that they know that if they wanna keep paying this year after year after year and put off replacing that whole system, and wanna keep paying this year after year after year and put off replacing that whole system until 2020-something.
I mean, that compressor takes 50 pounds of
Right.
refrigerant.
Then
So
this
50
is what
That's
we're-
$10,000 in refrigerant alone. if
That's
you have
what
to
we're
drain it.
I think
facing.
what's gonna happen is that those types of things tend to be. I
Facing.
think what's gonna happen is that those types of things tend to be really analyzed for being climate friendly. You're gonna see them get more and more expensive so that it doesn't become as much of an issue, because that's the big deal with air conditioning is that it spews a lot of stuff into the atmosphere.
Yeah,
Yeah, it spews a lot of stuff into the atmosphere.
yeah. The material lockers, we already talked about that. Our new study chairs are there. If you haven't had a chance to look at them, they're nice.
Are they all like
They're
all over
lighter.
the adult section or by
Yeah.
the computers
They're
or all
all
over the
over.
place? Okay,
Except in the back area by the study rooms, those are kept the nicest of the old chairs, put them back there. They're really light, I think they're really nice. Hopefully they'll last, I mean, I'm not expecting them to last 20 years like the old ones. So.
right.
So the children's area will be my next area I wanna work on. The summer reading program, we had 513 kids, 197 teens, and 295 adults, for a total of 1,005 participants. And I can't remember the exact numbers, but this is quite a bit over last year, so that's good. And they really still feel like if they're able to get physically into the schools, that could make a difference.
Right,
Hi, Ally.
right. Hint, hint, hint.
Trunk or treat is scheduled for October 27th, so, and I've actually had people are gonna have it, so.
Nice.
And then I already talked about the foundation.
Yep.
The Milkman game. So we have a lot of events coming up, actually. September 1st, we have Chad Lewis doing a Wisconsin Lumberjack and Lore program.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And then, September, what's going on? There's something going on September 10th. I'm blanking out. Well, I'll send the calendar link out. But there's a lot going on in September. And then, of course, our foundation literary luncheon, which I probably should save for the foundation report, so I'll talk about that then. Literary luncheon, which I probably should save for the foundation report, so I'll talk about that then. And then the FPL at a glance.
Can I just go back to something?
Oh, yeah.
I know already that I will not be able to make the common council meeting on the 19th. So if anybody wants to be there, I think you're gonna do a presentation. So if anybody wants to be there, I think you're gonna do a presentation, right? Just to be present with Jennifer. I know in the past, they tried to get us early on the agenda.
Oh, Sandy always tries to get me
Yeah.
on first.
Yeah, and then you don't have to stay for the whole meeting, but it's always good if, and then you don't have to stay for the whole meeting, but it's always good if, because they do, they see us there and they call us out and that kind of thing. So if you're available on the 19th.
Yep.
That would be 6:30?
They start at 6:30.
Yeah,
So, they do their business at the beginning. At 6:30.
yeah.
So, they do their business at the beginning. So
Yeah.
you're probably looking at 6:45, 6:50, depending on how many people
Right.
speak.
Yes, that is the,
That's the big thing, how many people speak. So, you'd probably be out by 7:15, 7:30.
And they do
FPL at a glance, kind of the same as last month, although our library programming, I think actually that should be highlighted from the previous year. I think 32 and 26 was more than last year. I think I just forgot to highlight them. Especially did a lot of programs. A lot of cooking programs, a lot of craft programs, and Sam did technology programs. I mean, they really did a lot. And our audience grew from last year, so that's good. Questions on any of this?
all right. Annie, foundation?
Jennifer,
Jennifer, foundation?
has there been another meeting?
No,
No.
Yeah.
because we've been having a hard time with scheduling
Yeah.
Yeah.
our
Summer.
meetings.
Yep.
But the website for selling online tickets is live now,
Oh, okay.
so we're ready to start taking online tickets. People can pay in the library, obviously.
Right.
Or online.
And how are you marketing that?
Well, we're gonna do Facebook. We'll
Okay.
probably do Facebook boosts.
And then the newsletter and
I'm
just
sending flyers
like-
to all of the libraries. I mean, because it's a
Oh, yeah,
literary
yeah.
event.
Right.
Get moving on
In the area, I'm sending, what's that?
it. We have to get moving on that.
Yeah, I know, it's coming up close, like soon, October 13th. But, we've already gotten over, like soon, October 13th. But, we've already gotten over 5,000 in sponsorships, so
Oh,
pretty
good.
much the event's paid for.
Oh, good.
So what they sell in tickets is
Is now
gravy.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
they've designated the patio area, as they'd like to, do some freshening up, some, I don't know how to say. Not good, we won't make that much for a new patio,
Rip it out and put a brand new one in.
our party patio.
Our
But
tea.
improvements to the patio, it might be like,
Enhancements, lighting,
Enhancement,
furniture.
new furniture,
I
'cause-
suggested that, I see the plastic furniture, but like
Oh, yeah, the wood.
Oh, you mean resin?
The composite stuff?
yeah, that you can leave out
well,
and
that's
not
what
bring
they've
in.
mentioned.
What do you want?
Yep.
That's
it's
what they've mentioned, that
expensive,
they'd be.
But it lasts.
Yeah.
We have out there now, the metal stuff is 20 years old, it's been out, 365 days a year. One chair we moved last year and it fell apart, which makes us a little nervous,
Yeah,
because,
Yep.
they don't, it's not gonna last, it's
There we go,
metal.
Annie.
Years
And
is
the
a long
elements.
time,
I
that's
know.
pretty.
yeah,
So the more tickets we sell, the better patio we can get.
I'll be
Right.
sharing that link.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've covered, like I
Okay.
said, they've gotten
That's
good
what they're-
sponsorships. So, and the next thing is we're gonna have a meeting, but
Okay.
it's not going too bad.
All right. All right, our upcoming meetings, the Personnel Committee will be meeting probably in September or early October. We have a little bit of business.
Pardon me?
Yes,
Is there a
ma'am.
Poland report?
There is not, because he gave a, yes,
Is there a
ma'am.
Poland report?
There is not, because he
an
gave a
odd month.
report last month.
Okay.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry, I
It's
didn't.
on the agenda.
Agenda
I
item
didn't have one,
11.
right? Because it's not an odd month, so I didn't ask you.
You didn't have a meeting, did you?
No,
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the minutes, not the.
No, didn't have a meeting, did you?
no.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the minutes, not the.
No problem.
It's not, agenda, I did tune into that first, trustee
Oh,
training
trustees
thing today,
training.
so-
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So those are available, like I said, all the time. Those are available, like I said, all the time after they're recorded.
Okay.
But it's at noon to 1 the rest of the week, if anyone can fit that into their schedule.
Okay.
She was very passionate.
Yes, she certainly was.
What is the link to that?
If
It's
you-
WIS trustee training,
If
it's
you-
WIS trustee training, all one word. I can't remember what the suffix is. Or just look for Wisconsin trustee training.
If you
it'll
do a
get you the
Google
link.
search for Wisconsin trustee training, it'll probably be the first thing that pops up.
Okay.
All right, so the Personnel Committee, once we, to connect on, well, okay, no, we are not meeting. Ravian is passing information, our previous Personnel Committee person, to Doris. And once that happens, we will meet. So I will contact you, Jennifer, to set up that meeting when the, and then our regular Library Board of Trustees meeting will be Monday, September 26th, here at 6 o'clock. Does anyone know? Annie won't be here.
Sorry.
No problem. Anyone else know that that won't work for them? Ask someone, well, I guess I need to appoint someone to be the secretary next month.
I did, Judy
I
said
think she said
told her,
she
because I told
would.
her I was gonna be
I-
gone.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think she did.
I was gonna ask if you remember
I
that.
think- I'll shoot her a text,
Okay. All right.
and if it's a problem, I'll let you know.
You're secretary, but you can still do it.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
All righty, everybody have a great